The Cursed Mirror Prologue, The Glassmaker's Pact. In 17th century Venice, a desperate glassmaker named Lorenzo Vianello, grieving his daughter's death, strikes a deal with a shadowy entity. In exchange for a mirror that can reveal the future, he offers his soul and those of anyone who gazes into it. The entity imbues the mirror with a malevolent curse. Anyone who sees their reflection will witness their own gruesome death, a vision that begins to haunt and unravel their life. The mirror, ornate with black and silver and etched with cryptic runes, vanishes after Lorenzo's mysterious demise, only to resurface centuries later. Chapter 1: The Auction. Present day, a small New England town. Clara Henshaw, a skeptical antique dealer, acquires an unmarked Venetian mirror at a shady estate auction. The auctioneer, a nervous man with trembling hands, warns her it's bad luck but refuses to elaborate. Clara, drawn to its craftsmanship, ignores him and displays it in her shop. That night, she glances into it and sees herself choking, her face purple, clawing at an invisible noose. Shaken, she dismisses it as exhaustion, but the image lingers like a splinter in her mind. Chapter 2: The First Victim. A customer, a young photographer named Ethan, buys the mirror for his studio. Days later, he confides to Clara that he saw himself in the mirror, his body torn apart by unseen forces. Ethan becomes paranoid, avoiding reflections and sketching the horrific scene obsessively. Clara, uneasy, visits him only to find his studio trashed, mirrors shattered, and Ethan dead, ripped apart as if by claws. The police call it an animal attack, but Clara notices the mirror is unscathed, its surface gleaming unnaturally. Chapter 3: The Curse Spreads. Clara researches the mirror's origins, uncovering Lorenzo's legend in an obscure occult text. The curse is relentless. Those who see their death are driven mad, their fate sealed within weeks. She tries to destroy the mirror, but it resists every attempt. Axes dull, fires fizzle. Meanwhile, her friend Emma, who glimpsed her reflection while helping in the shop, begins hallucinating her death, burning alive. Mia's behavior spirals. She douses herself in water obsessively, screaming about flames. Clara, desperate, seeks help from a local historian, Dr. Evelyn Ward, who specializes in cursed artifacts. Chapter 4: The Historian's Warning. Dr. Ward reveals the mirror's history. It's been linked to dozens of deaths across centuries, from Venice to Victorian London. Each owner saw their end: drowning, dismemberment, suffocation, and died exactly as foretold. Ward believes the entity tied to the mirror feeds on fear, growing stronger with each victim. Clara confesses her own vision, and Ward urges her to avoid reflective surfaces, as the curse thrives on reinforcing the vision. But Clara's reflection begins appearing in other surfaces: windows, water, even her dreams, each time showing her choking, her eyes bulging in terror. Chapter 5: The Descent. Clara's life unravels. She covers every reflective surface in her home, but the visions intensify. She hears whispers from the mirror, urging her to look again. Emma, now institutionalized, sets herself on fire in a psychotic break, fulfilling her vision. Clara's boyfriend, Tom, tries to help but accidentally sees his reflection, is crushed by falling debris. Panicked, he flees town only to die in a freak construction accident days later. Clara, haunted by guilt and fear, decides to confront the curse by returning the mirror to Venice, where it was made. Chapter 6: The Journey. In Venice, Clara tracks down a descendant of Lorenzo, an elderly woman named Julia who lives in a decaying palazzo. Julia reveals the mirror's curse can only be broken by someone willingly sacrificing their life to the entity, as Lorenzo did. Clara, tormented by her vision and the death she's caused, considers it. That night, the mirror shows her a new death: Julia, stabbed by an unseen assailant. Clara tries to warn her, but Julia is found dead the next morning, a knife in her chest. The mirror vanishes from Clara's hotel room, reappearing in a local antique shop. Chapter 7: The Final Reflection. Clara, now alone and unraveling, realizes the curse is toying with her. She sees her choking death in every reflection, the entity's whispers growing louder, mocking her attempts to escape. In a final act of defiance, she confronts the mirror in the shop, staring into it. The entity manifests as a shadowy figure with hollow eyes, promising to spare future victims if she surrenders. Clara, racked with guilt over Ethan, MIA, and Tom, agrees. As she chokes, her vision fading, the mirror cracks, its runes glowing briefly before it shatters into dust. Epilogue, the cycle continues. Months later, in a Tokyo flea market, a young woman buys a repaired Venetian mirror, its cracks expertly hidden. She hangs it in her apartment, admiring its beauty. As she glances at her reflection, her smile fades. She sees herself falling from a great height, her body broken on the pavement below. The mirror gleams, its curse unbroken, waiting for its next soul.